Hello, I'm Aaron, one of the threat intel advisors at Feedly Threat Intelligence, and today I am discussing the May Microsoft Patch Tuesday report, which you can access for free in the link in the description below. And I'm chatting with Andy, one of our senior threat intel advisors. Andy, I know we're looking at the May Patch Tuesday report. This again on screen here is that free report from Feedly. And one thing to call out, I know we were talking about there's a lot of unauthorized authentication, and there's already some exploitation out this month already. As we're looking at the report, I know it's kind of live updating. So some of the metrics I've seen have already changed from when this was first published. Kind of a cool feature of the report is that as new exploits are available or as more information becomes available, it will update. So this is kind of a living, breathing dashboard that you can use for free. So whenever there is new open source intel about these vulnerabilities, it will update in the page. So for instance, as of right now, I know we're looking at 4 vulnerabilities. You've done a little research and found that there's 5. But looking at the report so far, again, a lot of unauthorized authentication and some exploits. Like, what should vulnerability teams really be aware of so far?
Yeah, so just to clarify on this page, right, like you mentioned, there are 70 total vulnerabilities, 10 of which are critical, and then there are 5 that Microsoft has annotated as exploitation detected. So hopefully I hear that'll update soon. But in terms of notable vulnerabilities, some ones that I found interesting include 2025-29840. So it's a stack base, but the thing that really called out to me was some of the unauthorized arbitrary code execution that is a network-based one. So ideally right now there are no exploitation or proof of exploitation available, but because of the fact that it is unauth, these could be exploited without having to do any sort of additional authentication. I expect that their exploitation ability of it will be drastically increased later on as this becomes more available. 2025-33072, again, improper access, so you'll be able to disclose information, potentially manipulate some data there. And finally, 29825. Again, just another unauthorized attack that could, manipulate some information. So this could lead to, other sorts of, you could do some social engineering, which could be chained, which we talk about in another blog post, where you could chain vulnerabilities to be able to talk to other or to have other vulnerabilities stacked on top of this one.
Gotcha. So in your opinion, are there any specific systems which should be prioritized from this particular patch cycle?
Definitely. So there's a lot of vulnerabilities in the Azure services. So definitely need to take a look at those, calling out some vulnerabilities here, 2025-29813, 29827, 29972, and 30387. These definitely present some significant risks because they're, unauthorized access, code execution. You could compromise some of the data stored in the Azure file sync there, or even escalate privileges with some of these vulnerabilities. So there are some Office document as well vulnerabilities, which I think are interesting, particularly in Excel. So there are, I think, at least 3 vulnerabilities that could be exploited through a malicious document. So again, just watching for things like phishing attachments, especially those with Excel. And then finally, there's several vulnerabilities around remote desktop services.
Great. And then for some teams that might be spinning up their vulnerability management, it's kind of their first pass, maybe a patch Tuesday. What are some really good rule of thumb kind of practices for safe patching?
Good question. Definitely, making sure that you I'm just thinking back to the Microsoft CrowdStrike incident that occurred where just the blue screen of death, right? I was actually flying through the airport and seeing these blue screens of death everywhere and just like hoping that ATC does not run on the same systems. And so, for safe patching, right, make sure you deploy and test to a dev or a test environment first before going to prod. Or following that, deploying to a test group before deploying to a whole organization, so you don't just entirely brick your entire organization. Finally, always have a plan and roll back to something that, having that backup system, so you're not pushing something and then not having a way to revert back. So with that said, test, and always test.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us for the breakdown of the Microsoft May Patch Tuesday report. If you want to explore the report further, again, it's free. You can access them in Feedly in the link down in the description below. And thank you for watching.